How's it going, my truant people? Dr. Slacking, the Slacking Doctor, back with a quick update video for you guys, and the music is way too loud in my headphones. It's been ages since I've recorded anything. My settings are all off. Man, it's been like, I don't know, about 6 weeks, I think, since I recorded anything. You guys haven't had an upload for at least like 2 weeks now, I think. My apologies for that. So, I haven't really planned this update video. I haven't really thought about it too much, but I have given it like a little bit of thought about kind of what I want to address in this video. Obviously, I've had a little bit of break from uploading and stuff like that. I definitely want to address that, but I'd kind of thought that I wanted to talk a little bit about the future of the channel going forwards. I think they're the most important update videos, really, for you guys. So if you guys want to click off whatever, it's just going to be me here talking. If you wanted to stick around, then whatever. If this doesn't interest you, if you're not really bothered, then obviously don't worry. But yeah, I think it's going to be a slightly longer update video than usual. I try and rush through these usually, but basically what I wanted to talk about kind of was how the channel has changed since I started. I want to say thank you first and foremost for everyone's kind of support on the channel over the past 2 years now. I think it's been 2 years, which is insane. But about 2 years ago when I started the channel, those of you that were around then, and there's not many of you, but those of you that were will remember that it was essentially just started as a Let's Play channel, specifically doing Nuzlocke. At that time, I'd been watching Nuzlocke religiously on YouTube for a couple of years, I think. Around the time Oras came out, or a little while into the Oras life cycle, I started watching a lot of Nuzlocks, and then around the time that Sun and Moon had been out for maybe 6 months or so, I started up my own channel doing that kind of thing. And I don't watch those anymore, which is why I don't upload those anymore. I don't watch Nuzlocks or Let's Plays at all anymore whatsoever. So I stopped doing those because I just felt like I wasn't motivated to do them, I wasn't interested in doing them, and I wasn't producing good quality content when I was doing them. Even my most recent Let's Play of Pokemon Shield, as much as I enjoyed recording it, the motivation to keep uploading it kind of fell away. I don't think it's anywhere near as interesting or entertaining, I guess, as my Draft League games, because I'm just not, I don't know, it'd be like doing a sport that you've never watched or played before. You wouldn't be very good at it, right? And that's how I feel like with Let's Plays. I feel like it's just not a muscle that I'm kind of always working out, so it's kind of a weakness of mine. Regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed that, whatever. Anyway, the channel then transitioned into really being a competitive Pokemon channel, more coincidentally than anything else. I just got into Draft Leagues through my 2-Bit Crow, and then Nico, Stromful, and all the good people that kind of supported me along the way. And Draft Leagues really took over my life. So at the time when I started my YouTube channel back in like 2017, I think, I just moved into, or I was about to move into a place with Katie for the first time. Most of my uni housemates had moved, well, in fact, all of them had moved away, and I was moving quite away from my family and stuff, and I was commuting a long distance. Those of you that are around then remember I was working ridiculous hours and commuting a long way, doing sort of 7-8 hours of driving a lot of days of the week. And I kind of started doing these Let's Plays and stuff, I think, for a sense of community and stuff. I saw from the outside how much fun people seemed to be having when they recorded Soul Links and all this stuff. And I think I was like, you know what, I don't really have a lot of immediate connections around me, so I think I kind of sought out that sense of community in the Pokemon community on Twitter and things like that. I met boys like the Blue Phoenix, 2-Bit Crow I've already mentioned, and like a load of others. I'm just, I guess, found that what I was looking for. I was very, very grateful for that. And then, yeah, through the Draft League community, I found it 100%. I made some amazing friends through the Draft League community. My front office in particular that I kind of set up and established. We've become such a tight-knit group to the point where I'm constantly turning other people away from the front office in desire of kind of preserving that unit that we have there and not wanting any kind of disruption or anything like that to it. And people that I love, I'm turning away all the time. And yeah, it's only just because I've kind of forged this very strong relationship with the people there, and people beyond that too, including a lot of you that are probably watching this. So I'm extremely grateful for that. But I kind of sacrificed a little bit of my master's degree doing this Draft League stuff. Definitely did not focus on it as much as I would have liked. At that time, I was in sort of 3, 4, 5 leagues at a time, and for about 18 months probably, I was never not in a league, and I was never not in 3 or 4 leagues. Broke into the Wi-Fi community, absolutely loved that, met some great people there as well, and to the point where we were, you know, hosting the BFO Surge tournament, where it was an invite-only tournament this summer, and we are able to do that. We have that many friends in the community. We were able to host an invite-only tournament, which is insane to me, and it was still a huge tournament, and it was brilliant. It was so much fun. But from that, yeah, I have kind of realized that I needed to wind down, I needed to take a step back. I think Owl, recently I didn't upload that, but Owl was kind of like the pinnacle of my draft league enjoyment at the time when I was building with Eric and Isaac, and it was just so much fun. And yeah, I think after that I realized that I need to wind down a little bit. So that's what this video is really about. I'm rambling, and because I want to kind of establish everything I want to say in this video, but I haven't planned it, so I'm not doing very well. I realized I wanted to cut back. I wanted to do less leagues. I wanted to invest less time into this because next year I am hoping to go back and do my PhD. This is something that one or two of you may know, but most of you probably won't. At the time when I started my channel, it would always been my plan for years to go and do a PhD. For those of you that don't know, I basically, when I started my undergraduate degree, fresh out of school, fresh out of sixth form, I was studying politics, and I did 2 years of politics, and I hated it. I would be the guy that would miss all the early lectures, would turn up to the sort of afternoon lectures half asleep in a tracksuit, just not wanting to be there, whilst people were arguing over how to fix all the world's political issues, and it was hell to me. I didn't fit in. I didn't like it at all. So I took a little bit of time out. A lot of you won't know this. In fact, very few of you will know this, but I actually broke both of my hands and my nose in a drunken altercation in my final year of studying politics. I was a bit all over the place at that time. Yeah, I broke both of my thumbs in here. And my nose, and that's the only reason that I was actually able to change my degree. So I decided to change to English, and I got my funding refunded because they judged that I was unable to study that year, given that I'd been involved in this incident, and that I had been incapacitated on quite strong painkillers and stuff for quite a while. So I was given a second chance essentially because of that, and because of that whole messy situation. I went back and decided to study English with creative writing, and I went back to that, and most of you will know that I do writing and stuff. So I went back, started doing writing, and from that day when I changed course after doing 2 years on politics, and at that point I was actually still probably going to pass my degree and potentially come out with a 2-2 or a 2-1 if I put in good work in my third year. So it wasn't like the degree was beyond me or anything, and a lot of people sort of felt like, why would you 2 out of your 3 years and then restart and go back to year 1, taking 5 years to do my undergraduate? But it was because I realized that's what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to go to writing and stuff. So I did that, and then when I got to my master's, I got to what is, I would argue, the hardest master's degree in the country for creative writing. It's a year-long program, 1 year, where you have to essentially produce a full body of work. It's the only one like it. You don't have modular assignments, you don't have exams throughout the year. Just at the end of the year you hand in one masterpiece for your masters, essentially. And yes, incredibly difficult. It's the second oldest writing course in the country, arguably the second best writing course in the country, but certainly the hardest in my opinion. What made it even harder was all of our tutors went on strike. So all of our tutors went on strike. Meanwhile, I'm sat at home like, well, I ain't got any lessons, might as well be playing Mons, which is why all this ties in. So kind of having spent 5 years trying to get my undergrad, having been involved in a pretty messy situation that actually looked out for me to get me back on track, I kind of spurned my masters a little bit. Now I did still get a pretty good grade for my masters. I can't be too disappointed. It went well, but I didn't get a good enough grade to get PhD funding. That was the problem. I needed my PhD to be fully funded. I don't come from a particularly affluent background or anything, so it's not like I could ask for money from elsewhere. So at that time, I was pretty devastated because I felt like I'd got my big chance on one of the hardest things in the country, and I felt like while the teachers were on strike, everyone else was probably studying and doing good stuff, and I was like, I'll just play Mons. I'll just play Mons, and I had a great time. I definitely found the community I was looking for. I lived, like I say, sort of an 8-hour round trip, 7-hour round trip from my university, so it's not like I had friends there like everyone else did that they were going to library with and stuff, so it was difficult. But I don't want to make that mistake again, essentially, is what I'm trying to get at here. And next year, my plan is in September to go back and do my PhD. Now, obviously, PhD is going to be even harder than my master's degree, much as I say that was the hardest master's degree in creative writing in the country, in my opinion. PhD is going to be even more difficult, and I'm not actually going to do it in creative writing. If things go to plan, I'm going to be going to analyze and study film and film criticism and stuff like that, which will be, again, a whole new field for me. So yeah, I'm going to be going into it, something I've not got experience in, 3 years, very intense, 4 years potentially. I'm going to be moving, again, a little way across the country to Bristol, all things being well. That's subject to change, but that's the plan. I do have some friends there that I'll potentially be moving in with. So I kind of don't want to load my plate and promise you guys a lot of content in the new year and then just not deliver. It's something I've done a lot on this channel. I've promised a lot of things like Wi-Fi battles when Sword and Shield came out, Mario Kart content, Let's Play content, a lot of this stuff. We were doing OU for a long while, which I really loved back at Christmas, and that was kind of after I'd finished my master's degree. I knew that things hadn't gone well. I knew that I wasn't going to get on the PhD on it, to be honest, stuff like that. That's when I was uploading a ton of OU, and I was laddering quite high in OU because I think Pokemon in this community definitely gave me kind of like an escape. It was just like, this is fun, this is something I can do to not worry about the fact that I blew my masters a little bit. So anyway, all of that kind of happened. That's my plan moving into next year. So what do I actually intend to do with the channel? This has ended up being a way more personal update than I anticipated, but I don't know, I just kind of wanted to go off the cuff here and talk about it. So I do intend to continue doing draft leagues. I love draft leagues, I love this community, and I love the friends I've made, and I absolutely don't want to just walk away. However, I will be real, since I finished playing Sword and Shield, which I loved, and I might upload the rest of the Let's Play. Let me know down below if you've made it this far and you actually want to see the rest of the Let's Play. It's all done, it's all there on my computer. I don't know, just lost the desire to upload it and post it. But if you guys want to see it, then I should do that, and I will do that. So let me know if it's something you want to see. But I loved the games. I thought they were brilliant. However, the competitive meta that formed immediately after it, I wasn't around for the competitive meta after Sun and Moon dropped. I came to competitive late 2017, I think is the right year, so about a year after Sun and Moon had dropped, and the meta had started to stabilize. You know, things were starting to be more understood, values were starting to be better in draft league formats and stuff. The free draft era was kind of over, and I didn't get to see a very unstable metagame. Now at the start of Sword and Shield, I got to see that with Dynamax and Band and stuff in OU when everyone was originally playing it. I didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. I thought it was an incredibly unbalanced and unenjoyable metagame to me. I know some people prefer that when it is just kind of broken and messy, and some people get a lot of joy from that. Yeah, it's not for me. I'd probably enjoy OU in another year's time more than I did at the beginning of it. Once it's really stabilized and people feel it's got stale, that's when it's interesting to me. But regardless, so right now, my motivation for draft leagues and competitive Pokemon has been at an all-time low. I just don't really have any interest in building for draft leagues. I haven't played a draft league game much since like the PGBL and stuff ended, and I should touch on that, 100% should touch on that. So the PGBL, I say ended. The PGBL, obviously we had our last league game that I uploaded, and at that point I said we won't have a battle next week because we got a forfeit win the next game. We actually ended up getting forfeit wins for the rest of the season, with Gen 8 being released. A lot of people just didn't really continue with the league, so we did finish as top seed in our division. I would actually argue we probably deserved it because we didn't lose a divisional game. We did lose to people in the other division, but never within our division. So there is an argument that we probably deserved that top seed spot, given that we were one of the more committed coaches who was able to schedule all of the games. Other people just forfeit to me, and we hadn't lost in our division. So I do think it was relatively fair, and I do have the self-belief that we probably would have gone on to get first or second seed anyway. So we were given a bye to the semi-finals, and that game has already been played. So I don't know how much you guys care about the finish of the PGBL or how much you guys care about a Gen 7 draft league at this point, but I will upload it still. I will post that because it was still a good game, and out of respect for my opponent, I 100% will still upload that, and I respect for the PGBL because it's a fantastic league, and Root does a great job running it and stuff, and the other coaches are brilliant people, and yeah, I really like the PGBL, so I will 100% upload that semi-final game very, very soon. Anyway, back to the point. So my motivation for draft leagues is pretty low, and so going into the new year, my plan is essentially to participate in draft leagues, but my plan was to do 2 at all times when Gen 8 first released. I wanted to do 2 at all times, 1 Wi-Fi, 1 Showdown. That isn't going to happen now. In fact, I don't even tend to have 1 at all times, and in terms of this channel, what I'm thinking is that I will probably do Wi-Fi leagues when a Wi-Fi league comes up that I fancy with people in it that I feel like playing with, and that I have the motivation to play and to build good teams and to do well in, because the reality is the best content on this channel, the content that I'm most proud of and the content that seems to do the best with you guys, is the content when I am playing at a relatively high level, but more importantly analysing at a high level. I think that is probably my niche in this community, the thing that I am best at, my unique selling point if you like, is that my analysis is decent of draft league games, turn by turn breakdown, game plans, team builders, stuff like that. So when I feel on it, when I feel like I'm interested and motivated, I will upload more than likely always Draft League, Wi-Fi Draft League content. There might be some Showdown here and there, but more than likely all Wi-Fi. And that will be at the times when I feel I have the time and the inclination to be in leagues, especially after September once my PhD starts. If it does, then yeah, it might be you see nothing from me for 2 months, and then I come back for a league for 2 months, and then I disappear for 2 months again. It might be, you know, we have some back-to-back, we have some overlap, it might not be. I really don't know until we get there. But essentially what I'm saying at this point is if you guys want to unsubscribe and stuff like that because, you know, you want guaranteed content coming around, then by all means. But if you guys actually would like to see Draft League content on this channel whenever it goes up, but you know, you're prepared for it to be more sparing, it might be worth hitting the bell or something like that so that you get a notification when it goes up, and then you can turn the bell off for the rest of the season or whatever. But that might be the best way to do it or something like that. But yeah, it's going to be more sparing uploads, or at least that's my intention. Who knows? I might get completely hooked on this shit again, and I might be in another 5 leagues for the next 10 years, and I might not actually ever focus on my real life stuff, but I don't think that'll be the case. I also have been living on benefits for the past nearly a year now from the government, job seekers trying to find work and stuff, which when you think, you know, I've spent 6 years in education, higher education, getting a degree and a master's degree, to spend nearly a year out of work living off the taxpayer, it's not ideal. It's not ideal, and I do need to get work. I am applying for almost anything. Part of the problem is the area that I live in doesn't have a lot of opportunities for graduates. We just, yeah, those jobs don't really exist around here. So, and a lot of the jobs that aren't for graduates, things like working in bars, retail, things like that, people aren't even giving me the phone call because they look at my CV, they say, this guy's got a master's degree, he's not going to want to work behind a bar for the rest of his life, he's going to want to leave for something else. And that's the truth. I want to leave to do a PhD, so I can't even lie and be like, you know, no, all I've ever wanted is to work in a petrol station again like I used to, because God, that job nearly killed me. I hated it. So, yeah, it's been tricky, but I should be finding work in the new year pretty soon. I need to go with some money to do my PhD, and I will be working while I do my PhD. Like I said, I didn't get the grades to get funding, which means that I'll have to work alongside it. So if I'm doing the most challenging level of education there is, in theory, and certainly the most that I've ever done, whilst also working a job to pay for it, the reality is it's going to be incredibly difficult for me to upload a ton of content. So that's why I'm kind of making this announcement going into 2020, making sure you guys are aware that, yeah, the content will become infrequent and yeah, could disappear entirely by the end of the year for all I know. This might be the last year of the channel. I don't know. I really don't know. I want to give myself the freedom to kind of walk away from it in the new year if I feel like I need to, but I don't intend to retire. I've spoken about it with the front office a little bit. I mentioned, you know, I've been thinking about retiring, but I don't think I want to do that. I don't know. I'm a bit of a mess, as you can tell. And then on top of all of that, before I go back to university in September, that's obviously a long time away still, I want to get my brain back into a gear of kind of studying stuff again. So this is, if you were only here for Pokemon stuff, I don't know how much I'm going to talk about Pokemon stuff after this, so you can click off if you want to, whatever. But I want to get my brain back into a certain, and thank you for listening if you made it this far, if you're interested in Pokemon stuff. But yeah, I want to get my brain back into a certain way of thinking. I think I've become sloppy over the past year or so, maybe even 2. Not particularly rigorous in my kind of thinking, not reading a lot, not reading anything, not studying a lot. And so I don't want to go back to my PhD as a kind of blunt instrument. So my intention is, and this may or may not come to fruition, my intention is to start up another YouTube channel completely unaffiliated with this one, completely unrelated to this one, doing film analysis. That's what I'm going to be going to study. It's what my passion is. I write screenplays, so studying films is an important part of that. And so that, again, could detract from time invested into this channel. The reality is, whilst I am extremely grateful for all of you that have shown support on this channel, this doesn't make me any money. I've never made a penny off doing this. This is purely a hobby. It's a bit like if you play for your local football team, and then you get a job where you have to work weekends. no, your local football team is going to expect you to refuse your new job, right? And I feel like this pressure, because I am so grateful to you guys for all your support, I feel like me saying, hey, I'm going to unwind from this to focus on my real life stuff, I feel like it's almost a betrayal of your guys' support. But I'm trying to get out of that mode of thinking and think, you know what, we've had 2 good years, and if I have to invest other time into other things, then that's okay. So yeah, if you guys are remotely interested in film analysis, there are various kind of video essay channels floating around YouTube that I do watch a lot of. I will probably be doing a lot of anime coverage and stuff as well, because I do focus on animation. It will be animation from all over the world, but there will be some anime in that, and I know that within the Pokemon community, anime, of course, these 2 things tend to go hand in hand. It's pretty big, so if it is something you guys are interested in, let me know if you made it this far, if you would be interested in knowing what that channel was going to be called and knowing that channel was available, if you wanted to subscribe or whatever. And who knows, if enough of you seem interested, I might drop another update video saying, hey guys, my first video went up on that channel if you want to see it, and then I'll probably never mention it again on this channel, because I do intend to keep them pretty separate. If it even happens, who knows, I may never get around to that either. It would require a lot of editing, and those of you that have been around this channel for a while will know I suck at editing videos. I'm very lazy, so I don't know, that might never happen either. This has been one of the hardest videos I've recorded, just because I'm not very good at talking about this stuff. Yeah, I don't know, it makes me feel quite uncomfortable, as you can probably tell by me swaying constantly throughout this video, in discomfort. But yeah, I think that was pretty much everything I had to talk about. So, plan going into New Year, I will hopefully be continuing in leagues, specifically Wi-Fi leagues. There's various problems with like the timers, breeding, stuff like that. Like, I'll be real, I won't be playing Pokemon if I have to breed my teams. So I am still in the WBE server, although I don't believe they're having analysts next season. And I think that most of them are breeding their teams every week, I think, and doing it manually. Yeah, this isn't me to discredit the WB or discredit them. Like, I have full respect for people that do that. I think it's incredible. I remember having a conversation with Frosted about how she used to like breed all of her teams all the time, and I think that's insane. I don't have any interest in doing that. That's the reality. You can call it laziness, and hey, probably agree with you. You can say, well, other people don't have the time and they still do it, and yeah, I probably agree with you. But I just don't have any interest in spending my time breeding a team. It's boring. It's not worth it. Yeah. It's just not worth it to me. I fully respect those that do, and that's a passion of theirs. It's the same way I wouldn't go play cricket, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think people that play cricket is brilliant, have fun. Don't like cricket, don't like breeding. Not going to be happening. So, again, if there are leagues that are like, it's breeding only, I won't be joining them. So until Jenning perhaps gets fixed, it might be a little while before I can do any Wi-Fi leagues or whatever. Don't know. But that's the plan anyway. That's the plan. And if there are just 0 Wi-Fi leagues where Jenning is happening, which I don't think so, you know, various servers that I'm in right now that are talking about upcoming season seems to be thinking that Jenning will be possible. But if they're not, if it doesn't happen, then maybe we will just do showdown leagues. I don't know. I prefer Wi-Fi, but we'll see. Yeah, so, summary, let me summarize. The reason that I started this channel was to find the community and stuff. Very, very grateful for the community I have found. Honestly, friends for life, I'm sure, with a lot of people in this community. So, so grateful to them. What happened to the channel became so heavily invested in draft leagues that I perhaps put my real life stuff on the back burner. Why this is relevant for the future, I have to get serious. I'm 25 years old, man. I'm old. I'm old. Have to get serious about stuff moving forward. So I cannot allow that to happen again. And if I can't trust myself to balance it, then I will retire. If I can't strike a balance naturally, but certainly will cause a cutback in video content. And second channel potentially coming on a completely separate issue, but again, cutting time from this one. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the future of the channel holds. At some point, like, I think most of us who don't do this for a living do this knowing it's probably temporary, right? I think most of us do this knowing at some point we will quit. Even those that make money quit from it. But, you know, there are people like A-Drive, Pokey, and whatever, who this is their day job. They probably don't ever look at this and think, oh, I've lost my passion to do this, because they're like, I gotta pay the bills. For those of us that this is just a hobby, you know, we all do this knowing that one day things that aren't our hobby might take over, whether it's family, whether it's work, whether it's education. So yeah, all that being said, at some point the channel will come to an end. It could be this year. Certainly this will be the year of the cutting back, and if I ever do retire, then I will tell you guys. I'll say, you know, this is the end of the channel. Thank you for your support. I'll never delete the channel ever. The channel will always be here. If you guys want to go back and watch past seasons, let's plays, things like that, they'll all always be here. I think I've only ever deleted 2 videos that I uploaded. One because Katie wandered in the background in a towel, and I knew she wouldn't want it up, and I forgot to edit it out. It was a team builder for the PGBL, so I just deleted the video. And the other one was an update where I spoke about the loss of my grandfathers, and I just didn't want it on the channel because it was never like supposed to be. I'm just not comfortable with that stuff being on the channel. You know what I mean? Like, there are YouTubers who upload things where they talk a lot about their personal life, the traumas and stuff like that. We all, you know, have issues in our lives that we go through, every single person. And some people, that's what they make a career on YouTube talking about, and I completely respect them, as long as they're doing it tastefully, right? As long as they're helping people with it and that's their intention, fine. But, man, it's not something I could ever be comfortable with. I can hardly even speak to people I know about that kind of stuff, let alone a camera on the internet. So, yeah, that video got removed as well, but everything else has always been left up on the channel, even half of Let's Plays where, like, they never got finished, stuff like that. They're all there, and they always will be there. So for those of you that have been around for a while, I'm extremely grateful to you. You can go back and watch those whenever, no matter what happens. That won't change. Leagues that should be coming up in the new year. I believe the UBL is coming back. Obviously, a league that I was hoping to win last time out, but choked away at the semi-final game. That will be coming back, I believe, and I believe there's probably Jenna's on board for that. So, that will be the first one I would imagine you guys will need to look out for. And that might not be for like 2 months. That might not be for a little while yet. Might not be for a month, might not be for 2 months. So, obviously you got the PGBL semi-final to come. But once that's done, there might be no uploads to this channel for a couple of months. So, yeah, that doesn't mean that I've gone. That doesn't mean I'm never coming back. At the point where I'm never coming back, 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, whenever that is, I will tell you. There will be a video that says I'm done. But until then, if there's a long break, I will be coming back with something. So just keep your eyes out. Or if you don't want to, unsubscribe by all means. Yeah, anyway, I should shut up now because what's this been, like half an hour? Probably. Yeah, incredibly unstructured video. I do apologize. That's all I've got to say. Thank you so much for floating around with me, guys, and I'll catch you again next time.